Benefits or importance of human resource planning. Human resource planning or manpower planning is necessary for all organizations because of the following reason: to meet up requirements of the organizations. In this scope, we see that to do work in the organizations, every organization needs personnel of desired skills, knowledge, and experience. This human resource requirement of organization can be effectively fulfilled through proper human resource planning. It helps in defining the number of personnel as well as kind of personnel required to satisfy its needs. It ensures the reservoir of desired human resource as and the when required. Counterbalance insecurity and change. There must be proper utilization of human and non-human resources in this organization. Sometimes the organization may have adequate non-human resources, for example, machines, materials, and money, but inadequate human resources. As a result, manufacturing process or production cannot be started. Human resource planning helps to offset uncertainties and changes as far as possible, and enables to ensure availability of human resources of the right kind at right time and at right place. It helps in checking labor imbalance. Human resource planning helps to anticipate shortage or surpluses of manpower in the organization. The shortage of manpower as well as surplus of manpower is not good for the organization. It proves very expensive for the organizations. In case of shortage of human resource, physical resources of the organizations cannot be properly utilized. In case of surplus of human resources, the resource may remain underutilized. It helps in counterbalancing the problem of shortage and surplus employees very comfortably. Human resource planning helps in correcting this balance before it becomes unmanageable and expensive. Right sizing the human resource requirements of the organizations. In an existing organizations, there is a constant need for right sizing the organizations. In this organization, some posts may fall vacant as a result of retirement, accidents, resignations, promotions, or death of employees. Consequently, there is constant need of replacing people. Human resource planning estimates future requirements of the organization and help to ensure that human resource of right kind, right number, in right time, and in right place. To meet expansion and diversification needs of the organization, it helps to execute future plans of the organizations regarding expansion, diversifications, and modernization. Through human resource planning, it is ensured that employees in right number and a lot of right kinds are available when required to meet these needs of the organizations. It ensures that people of desired skills and knowledge are available to handle the challenging job requirements. Training and development of employees. There is constant need of training and development of employees as a result of changing requirements of the organizations. It provides scope for advancement and development of employees through training and development, etc. Thus, it gives in meeting and future needs of the organizations of highly skilled employees. Fulfill individual needs of the employees. It helps to satisfy the individual needs of the employees for promotion, transfer, salary, engagement, better benefits, etc. Helps formulation of budgets. It helps in anticipating the cost of human resources. For example, salary and other benefits, etc. It facilitates the formulation of human resource budget for various departments, divisions of the organizations. So, it may also help in the formulation of suitable budgets in an organization. To check joblessness. In the exercise of right sizing of employees by the organization, some of the employees may become surplus. It means their services are no more required in the organizations. It tries to foresee The need for the redundancy. It plans to check job loss or to provide the alternative employment in consultations with various concerned parties and authorities. Human resource planning at different levels. Human resource planning is done at various levels for their own purposes by various Human resource planning is done at various levels for their own purposes by various institutions. There are various levels of human resource planning in an industrial enterprise: national level, sectoral level, industry level, unit level, departmental level, job level O. First one, national level. Generally, central government plans for human resources for the entire nation. It anticipates the demand for and supply of human requirements at the national level. Number 2, sectoral level. Center and state governments also plan human resource requirements at sectoral level. It tries to satisfy needs of some particular sectors like agricultural sector, industrial sector, and service sector. Number 3, industry level. This level of planning is done to suit manpower needs of a particular industry such as engineering, heavy industries, paper industry, consumer goods industries, public utility industries, textile, cement, chemical industries, etc. Number 4, departmental level. This level of planning is done to suit the manpower needs of a particular department in a company. For example, marketing department, production department, finance department, etc. Number 5, job level. This level of planning fulfills the human resource needs of a particular job family within department. For example, the requirement of number of sales executives in the marketing department. Need for HRP at macro level. Major reasons for the emphasis on HRP at macro level include employment-unemployment situation. Though in general the number of educated and unemployed is on the rise, there is acute shortage for a variety of skills. This emphasizes the need for more effective recruitment and retaining people. Technological change. The myriad changes in production technologies, marketing methods, and management techniques have been extensive and rapid. Their effect has been profound on job contents and job context. These changes cause problems relating to redundancies, retraining, and redeployment. All this suggests the need to plan manpower needs intensively and systematically. Organizational change. In the turbulent environment marked by cylindrical fluctuation and discontinuities, the nature and pace of changes in organizational environment activities and structures affect manpower requirements and require strategic considerations. Demographic changes. The changing profile of the workforce in terms of age, sex, literacy, technical inputs, and social backgrounds have implications for HRP. Skill shortages. Unemployment doesn't mean that the labor market is a buyer's market. Organizations have generally become more complex and require a wide range of specialist skills that are rare and scarce. Problems arise when such employees leave. Governmental influences. Governmental control and changes in legislation with regard to affirmative action for disadvantaged groups, working conditions and hours of work restrictions, no women and child employment, casual and contract labor, etc. have stimulated the organizations to become involved in systematic HRP. Legislative controls. The day of executive payouts and hire and fire policies are gone. Now legislation makes it difficult to reduce the size of an organization quickly and cheaply. It is easy to increase but difficult to shed the fat in terms of the numbers employed because of the recent changes in labor law relating to layoffs and closures. Those responsible for managing manpower must look far ahead and thus attempts to C. Manpower problems. Impacts of pressure groups. Pressure groups such as unions, politicians, and persons displaced from land by location of giant enterprises have been raising contradiction, contradictory pressures on enterprise management such as internal recruitment and promotions, preferences to employees, children, displaced persons, sons of the soil, etc. System concept. The spread of systems thinking and the advent of the macrocomputer as a part of the ongoing revolution in information technology, which emphasizes planning and newer ways of handling voluminous personal records. Lead time. The long lead time is necessary in the selection process and for training and deployment of the employees to handle new knowledge and skills successfully. HRV process. The process of HRV is entirely based on the corporate plans and objectives. HRV is a continuous process of review, control, and assessment. Figure clearly indicates the HRV process. Human resource planning process. Human resource planning is the process by which management ensures that it has the right personnel who are capable of completing those tasks that help the organization reach its objectives. It involves the forecasting of human resource needs and the projected matching of individuals with expected vacancies. Steps in implementations of human resources planning process is as follows. Human resource planning begins with answering several questions. What new technologies are operating and how will this affect this work system? What is the volume of the business likely to be in the next 5 to 10 years? What is employees' turnover rate? And how much, if any, is available? Once these questions are answered, then you have to ask further questions that can lead to specific human resource activities such as training or hiring. How many senior managers will we send during this time period? What types of workers will we need and how many? And there are people with inadequate computer skills available for meeting our projected needs. What administrative personnel, technicians, and secretaries will we need to support the additional managers and workers? Answering these questions will also help to define the direction for the organization's human resources strategy. For example, if forecasting suggests that there will be a strong need for more technically trained individuals, the organizations can define the job and skills needed in some details. Hire and train recruiters to look for the specified skills, providing new training for existing employees. Other essential measures to ensure that human resource planning is an integral part of the human resource policy include creating a simple database of the records with basic information on each employee, full name, date of birth, address, start date, starting wages, current wages, skills, etc. Developing job descriptions, performance standard, and appraisals. EW Better has visualized resources planning as a process by which an organization should move from its current manpower positions to its desired manpower position. Through planning, management should strive to have the right number and right kind of people at the right places at the time, doing things which result in both the organizations and the individuals receiving maximum long-run benefit. Thus, human resource planning is a process which determines how an organization should move from its current manpower human resources positions to its desired manpower human resources positions. Human resource planning can be defined as the process of identifying the number of people acquired by an organization in terms of quantity and quality. All human resource management activities start with human resource planning. So we can say that human resource planning is the principal or primary activity of the human resource management. First one, personal demand forecast. This is the very first step in HRP process. Here, The HRP department finds out department-wise requirements of the people for the company. The requirement consists of number of people required as well as qualifications they must possess. Second one, personnel supply forecast. In this step, HR department finds out how many people are actually available in the departments of the company. The supply involves or includes the number of people along with their qualification. Number 3. Comparison. Based on the information collected in the first and second step, the HR department makes a comparison and finds out the difference. Two possibilities arise from this occupational comparison. No difference. It is impossible to have its impossibility. It is possible that personnel recruitment equal personnel supplied. In this case, there is no difference, hence no change is required. Yes, there is difference. There may be difference between supply and requirement. The difference may be personnel surplus, personnel shortage. Number 4. Personnel surplus. When the supply of personnel is more than the requirement, we have personnel surplus. We require 100 people but have 125 people. That is, we have a surplus of 25 people. Since extra employees increase expenditure of company, the company must try to remove excess staff by following methods. 5.1. Personnel shortage. When supply is less than the requirement, we have personnel shortage. We require 100 people and we have only 75, for example. We are short of 25 people. In such case, the HR department can adopt methods like overtime, recruitment, subcontracting to obtain new employee. In India, electrical equipment industry is facing a major problem in getting skilled and employable manpower which is technically competent, equipped with skills and ready to be deployed. The industry is facing a looming skill gap, which is widening every year due to lack of skilled manpower. Electrical equipment industry is suffering as it is affecting critical functions like R&D, consultancy, design, and detailed engineering work. It added. The technical education system in the country does not promote innovative thinking. It is said, adding, training being provided in and ITS is outdated, and the students are not able to meet the aspirations of the industry. Even the qualified supervisors and engineers are not available. Those who are qualified are not well trained to meet the technical methods and needs of the industry. Because of the above factor, the labor productivity is far less than the labor productivity in China and Korea. The statements it is said that this is one of the important reasons for making and the industry non-competitive and is also affecting the timely completion of the projects. India, there is about 40% shortage of skilled manpower in the infrastructure sector, according to expert. The infrastructure sector is short of skilled manpower by about 40% from the existing number of employed. The annual demand for civil engineers is 4.27 million against the current stability and availability of 27,000. President and whole-time director of L&T Finance Holdings N. Shiverman said, meanwhile, the shortfall of civil engineer in this decade 2010 to 2020 is expected to be 39.4 million, he said. HR demand forecasting factors affecting techniques. HR demand forecasting. Human resource demand forecasting is the process of estimating the human resource in future for requirement in right quality and right number. As discussed earlier, potential human resource requirement is to be estimated keeping in view with the organization's plans over a given period of time. Analysis of employment trends, replacement needs of employees due to death, registration and resignation, retirement, termination, productivity of employees, growth and expansion of organizations, absenteeism and labor turnover are the relevant factors for human resource forecasting. Demand forecasting is affected by a number of external and internal factors. Factors affecting the demand forecasting. Human resource demand forecasting depends on several factors, some of which are given below. Employment trends. replacement need, productivity, absenteeism, and expansion and growth. There are a number of techniques of estimating or forecasting human resource demand. First one, management judgment. There are a number of techniques of estimating or forecasting human resource demand. First one, managerial judgment. Second one, work study technique. Third one, ratio trend analysis. Fourth one, econometric models. Fifth one, Delphi model. And the sixth one, other techniques. Managerial judgment techniques is a very common technique of demand forecasting. This approach is applied by small as well as large-scale organizations. This technique involves two types of approaches. For example, bottom-up approach and top-down approach. Under the bottom-up approach, line manager send their departmental requirement of human resources to top management. Top management ultimately forecasts the human resource requirement for the overall organizations on the basis of proposals of departmental heads. Under the top-down approach, top management forecasts the human resource requirement for entire organizations and various departments. This information is supplied to various departmental heads of their review and approval. However, a combination of both the approaches, participative approach, should be applied for demand forecasting. Under this approach, top management and departmental heads meet and decide about their future human resource requirements, so demand of human resources can be forecasted with anonymity under this approach. Second one, work study technique. This technique is also known as workload analysis. This technique is suitable where the estimated workload is easily measurable. Under this method, estimated total production and activities for a specific future period are predicted. This information is translated into number of man-hours required to produce for units taking into consideration the capability of the workforce. Past experience of the management can help in translating the workloads into the number of man-hours required. Thus, demand of human resources is forecasted on the basis of estimated total production and contribution of each employee in producing each unit items. The following examples given here is the clear idea about this technique. Let us assume that the estimated production of an organization is 3.00.00 units. 3.00.000 units. The standard man hours required to produce each unit are 2 hours. Past experiences show that the work ability of each employee in man hours is 1,500 hours per annum. The workload and demand of human resource can be calculated as under estimated total annual production equal 3 lakh units. Standard man hours needed to produce each unit equal 2 hours. Estimated man hours needed to meet estimated annual production. First one multiplied by second one equals 6 lakh hours. Work ability per construction per employee in terms of man hour equal 1,500 units. Estimated number of workers needed, number third divided by number fourth equal 6 lakh by 1,500 equal 400 units. The above example clearly shows that 400 workers are needed for the year. Further, absenteeism rate of labor turnover, resignation, deaths, machine breakdown, strikes, power failure, etc. should also be taken into considerations while estimating future demand of the human resources or manpower. Ratio trend analysis. Demand for manpower, human resources also estimated on the basis of ratio production level and annual number of workers available. The ratio will be used to estimate demand of the human resources. The following examples will help in clearly understanding this technique. Estimated production for next 1 year equal 1,40,000 units. Estimated number of workers needed on the basis of ratio trend number 1 is to 200 will be 700. Number D, econometrics model. These models are based on mathematical and statistical techniques for estimating future demand. Under these models, relationship is established between the dependent variables to be predicted, for example, manpower or human resource, and the independent variables, for example, sales, total productions, workload, etc. Using this model, estimated demand of human resources can be predicted. Fifth one, Delphi technique. Delphi technique is also very important technique used for estimating demand for human resources. This technique takes into consideration human resources requirements given by a group of experts, for example, managers. The human resource experts collect the manpower needs, summarizes the various responses, and prepare a report. This process is continued until all experts agree on estimated human resources requirements. And the sixth one is other techniques. The other techniques of human resources demand forecasting are specified as under. First one, following the techniques of demand forecasting of human resources used by other similar organizations. Second one, organizations come succession charts. Third one, estimation based on techniques of production. Fourth one, estimates based on historical records. Fifth one, statistical techniques, for example, correlation and regression analysis. HR supply forecasting succession analysis, Markov analysis. Human resource supply forecasting is the process of estimating availability of human resource, which is followed by demand forecasting. For forecasting supply of human resource, we need to consider internal supply and external supply of human resources. Internal supply of human resources are available by the way of transfer, promotions, retired employees, and recall of laid-off employees, etc. External supply of human resource is availability of labor force in the market and by the way of new recruitment. External supply of human resource depends on some factors mentioned below. Supply and demands of the jobs, literacy rate of nation, rate of population, industry and expected growth rate and levels, technological development, compensation system based on education, experiences, skill and age. Succession analysis. Once a company has forecast and the demand for labor, it needs an indication in the firm's labor supply. Determining the internal labor supply calls for a detailed analysis of how many people are currently in various job categories or have specific skills within the organizations. This planner then modifies this analysis to reflect changes expected in near future as a result of requirement and retirement, promotions, transfers, voluntary turnover, and terminations. Demand forecasting help in determining the number and type of personnel human resources acquired and required in future. The next step in human resource planning is forecasting supply of human resources. The purpose of supply forecasting is to determine the size and quality of present and potential human resources available from within and outside the organizations to meet the future demand of human resources. Supply forecast is the estimate of the number and kind of potential personnel that could be available to the organization. The above figure illustrates that internal supply forecasting can be estimated based on the following. First one, current staffing level. Second one, projected outflow this year. Third one, projected inflow this year.